Hello, Ryan here, aka Mac, and welcome. Today we are looking at this completely ugly beauty of a ship, which is, as I'm sure you're all aware, the Drake Clipper. As always, huge thank you to all of my patrons and channel members. Thank you all so much for the support. Cannot do this without you guys. Also, don't forget the TOBII Tracker 5 is still on sale at 20% off. So using the link below will take you to that deal, while also providing my channel with a direct kickback, helping me to make videos like this. And a big thank you to everyone who has done so already. Right, let's get looking around this fantastic ship. This has really taken me by surprise. I knew looking at the silhouette from the previous CitizenCon that it was going to be an interesting ship, but little did I know what was in store. Now, this is my main account, and I've been messing with this one. I also upgraded on my off-grid series that I'm, trying to work on episode 3. That is coming back, but it is with a Clipper. Ari Rath has sold his Intrepid and his bike, unfortunately, to try and get the funds to buy the Clipper. But it is happening. The next off-grid video will be with the Clipper, and this is a off-grid thoroughbred. Well, maybe not a thoroughbred, more of a mongrel, an off-grid mongrel. I'm honestly infatuated with this vehicle. We will take a look inside in a second, but let's just admire the chaotic exterior, which I've heard a lot of references. To me, it looks very much like the Jawa vehicle. If they put wheels on it, you could see a lot of little Jawas running around in there, scrapping what they can. It is an absolute monster, and I'm, as I say, I cannot get enough of it. So on the outside, you can see it's got these two fold-downable wings with, 5 engines? Nice design for the engines as well, especially these two, as you can see them on the inside. Yeah, interesting shapes. And then you've got 2 more over there, 2 more there. Now, there is the fuel port here for when we get physicalized tubes for grabbing off the hangar floor and attaching to there so that you can refuel it that way physically. It also, I think it says it has 20 maneuvering thrusters, which at the moment doesn't really mean too much aside from its maneuverability, which, with well, that's clipping through a rock. That's not nice. With the flight model changing, I'm sure it'll have more of an impact. Plus, when it comes to the engineering system, which is coming in the next patch, I will talk a bit about that while we're doing this review. Being able to locate all these maneuvering thrusters is going to be important, because you will be able to fix them individually. They can get damaged individually. You will need to repair them. Main thrusters as well. So it is good with the engineering system to really learn your ship. There's another one. It's going to be, I think, EVA is going to be the best way to fix some of these vehicles that don't have easy access to the roofs and so forth. But all in all, the shape really took me by surprise, and I fell in love with it almost immediately. At first I was like, this is grotesque, and I know myself and a number of the members of our org felt the same way, but it's really grown on me. It has a lot of missiles. I must have already fired one, because I'm sure that had 4. You've got, I think, 3 size 3 arresters, 4 size 2s, and then technically 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, I think it's 12, and I think I accidentally fired one. So 12 size 1s, 4 size 2s, and 3 size 3s. Not a bad payload, to be fair. Plus it has 4 size 3 weapons. At the moment you've got Mantises and Omniskis, which I will certainly swap out. I would certainly suggest, if you're going to go all energy, upgrading the power plant so you have a few more pips. But all in all, I haven't tested it yet in combat. It's not the sort of ship you really want to take into combat just because of its cross-section being so huge. It's a big, easy target, and if those wings or engines get blasted off, you're going to have a maneuvering nightmare. But I think PvE especially, it should be able to hold its own. It'll be interesting to see how capable it is for PvP, especially if in the hands of those more capable than I. You also have these nice floodlights, which, you know, lighting in Star Citizen, especially when it comes to ship headlights, could do with some more work, but it is coming along. Plus, it would be nice to get kind of exterior floodlights. I know the Corsair has them, so that would be good to get more of those. But all in all, very strange, interesting shape, especially the cockpit area. But I like it. Now, this has 2 entrances. I will show you how I have this set up for off-gridding. And as I say, we will talk a lot about engineering because that is coming in the next build. And this is going to be a beautiful ship for incorporating that. So firstly, you have a button here, which is for the ramp. That takes you up into the cargo bay. You have a button here for the elevator, which bypasses the whole cargo area, saves you time running through the sort of engine area, up through, you know, your medical suite and the crafting station, and gets you to a ladder where you can go directly to the cockpit super quick. But we're going to take the long-winded route. That is very handy. Now, one thing that I wanted to try with off-gridding is having a vehicle in, and the pulse. I tried a Dragonfly. That is not possible. The Dragonfly, although likely possible to get in, it is a bit of a nightmare. This fits beautifully, and you've got a lot of room here. Let's just turn the lights on. You have a lot of room here for when engineering does come along to tinker with it, to fix it up and to get things, you know, get all your components working as they should be. Oh, sugar, I shouldn't have done that.
Sequence complete. Landing successful.
That's super dangerous with a pulse. Never, I don't advise doing that. So, you've got quite a lot of room there. Obviously, you do sacrifice a bit of cargo capacity here. We've just got a couple of components here, which are nothing special. They're just by-the-by components that I picked up out of an Intrepid. But, again, focusing on engineering, having spare components just lying around is going to be very useful. So, plenty of room for a pulse, with room to spare. However, I do wonder how well it would sit. We'll have to try it, but let me do the walk around first in case it blows everything up. I do wonder how it would sit if it was just left here when you raise the ramp. I will try it, but not until we are ready to take off. Because it would fit there quite comfortably, I'd say. Of course, you're going to have to sort of snug past it or move past it. But I think this is intentional, this sort of area here, to offer additional storage. But I know, for example, these components, if you were to sit them on here, when the ramp lowers, like, they would slide down. They're not going to stay put. The bike should, because of the gravlevs, but if you put stuff on here, they're not clamped like this cargo grid here. So don't expect it to sit there. I put a cooler on it and it just slid off down the hill. Down the ramp and down the hill. Now you have a size 12 SEU cargo grid, where it's 2 by 3 stacked 2 high. You can probably get a little bit extra in here, but you're not going to get any more in. It's not like, you know, with the Zeus where you have, or the ES where you have the cargo grid and then you've got all the excess around the outside. You are going to be slightly restricted because I don't even think an extra box would fit in here, technically. I mean, I'm sure we could try, but at least you have the lift, or the elevator to get down and out and in, no problem. Also, you can actually get things up here. It can be a bit fiddly, but the way you do it is you just make sure that's open, face away from the ladder, and then you can just sort of lift it up there. So if you need to swap components out and whatnot, you can do so by doing it that way, or if you're wanting to throw things up there. Quite handy. Now this is a beautiful little rear area. I love seeing these engines. That was such a cool design idea, where you can see them spinning. That one's sucking in air. I don't know if this panel will ever be functional. I hope so, for some reason, for whatever reason. That would be kind of cool, or at least have a monitoring station, but with it being more analog and not digital. That would be cool if they could incorporate that. So you've got this lever that will open and close this, even though it's already closed. It does it automatically, but eventually we'll be able to... oh, didn't want to do anything. Eventually we'll have much more control over doors, hatches, and so forth. You have your battery, your power plant, 2 power plants here, one at the bottom, one at the top, which is kind of cool. Very handy there. And nice, easy access, so if your power plant goes, you can kind of come here, throw it down there, and throw it out the back if you need to get it out quick in case of an emergency. Let's get the lights on. This is our beautiful medical suite. Now, it's only a tier 3 bed, but that is kind of handy, and again, another nice touch for off-gridding. Great idea, and it just suits it perfectly. I've just got a plant here for the sake of just seeing some props, but you can put all sorts in here, and I'm sure having additional medical goo, because you have 200 Medigel here, which I think is, what, 4 revives and a few treatments if need be. Do bear in mind, though, tier 3 medical bed, as it stands today, I'm sure in the future it could change, you have up to 50 kilometer range. So provided you are within 50 kilometers of your clipper, and you've set your spawn via the regeneration thing, then you should be fine to respawn here. If you're out of that range, not so good. So this is going to be great for assaulting places like Hathor, or places you want to sort of hit and run by scavenging things. Take a big backpack, jump on your bike, drive out there, load up your bike, load up your backpack, drive back, park this out of range so that, you know, ships coming in aren't going to see the radar signature, and you should be good to come back to it. And if you are within range and within that 50 kilometer, which is more than enough, you'll be able to respawn here if you die. Now, this is where your fire extinguisher will be. Do pay attention to this. When 4.5 starts coming along, you want to know where your fire extinguishers are. There is one here. So if you're running downstairs, you know, down the ladder to try and get here, there's quick access there. I'll show you that in a second. But if you want to get down here to put out a fire on your power plant, you want to take this one, preferably, unless you can grab one up there. But I'll show you that one as well. So a nice little shelf here to put stuff on. Don't grab that. Oh boy. A little fridgy area here for storing the medical supplies. I'm sure we will see. In fact, there is something interesting coming to medical soon with a new type of device coming. My guess is a defib. I'm hoping so, but we don't know. But medical armor will be coming soon as well. You've got some personal storage here with 1,350,000 micro units. That's kind of a nice amount. Good for storing anything, really. And then you've got a lot of poster locations, like this one. So if you've got any posters, you can put them up, move them away, hang them up. I thought Stronger Together would be the right one for the medic bay. Seems to make sense. Hopefully these will give us some information as well at some point. And this is a really interesting spot. Now, this is the crafting space. We don't know exactly how crafting is going to work, but it will allow you to, from the Q&A, take resources, so gathering resources, storing them on your cargo bay. It will take from there, if need be. This is probably going to be the crafting panel, which you would input things to that you want to craft. And then I guess this will shut down, do the crafting using that thing, and then you'll pick it up. I've just thrown some stuff on there for the sake of making it look interesting. But yeah, I like this, and I am very interested to see how well this is going to play in terms of what sorts of, or what types of crafting we can do with something like this versus a dedicated fabricator versus a bigger fabricator, a bigger ship that can do it. This allows you, especially with the med bed and the crafting station, to be self-sufficient. Now, this ship is the first of what they're calling generalist, which to me was probably heavily inspired by our off-grid activities, because a lot of people enjoy it, and I wouldn't be surprised if they saw that and thought, let's provide, you know, let's create something for them guys to enjoy. So this would allow you to be self-sufficient, crafting medical stuff, food maybe, tools, weapons, ammo, all sorts of stuff, living off-grid for a super long time, which I am so grateful for, because this is such a cool thing. This, I would expect, is probably a place where you feed the fabricator with goods, because it says that you can either, you know, manually put the stuff in, or it'll take from your cargo grid. You can, I suppose, decide. I don't know if this is going to become anything. That would be good as just some shelves for items you've fabricated. You could open this area up and, you know, lock this door and allow people to come in and buy things, or use the fabricator if you so wanted. Unless you wanted to remain completely solo, of course, you can do. So, moving through here, we have, when the lights come on. There we are. The lighting actually is quite nice in here. Did I just turn that one off? Yeah, I'll keep it on. That should feed into the whole battery power and whatnot. So that goes up to the bridge. This is the elevator that takes you down. So, as I say, you completely bypass the medical station, the fabricator, and you're right down here where the cargo ramp is. Got some quasi-grazers over there. Grazing. Just there. Nice and quick. Easy to bypass that if you just want to go straight to your cockpit. So you just come up here, you go running up there, and it's straight above you. We have a nice little weapon rack here with 2 main weapons, 4 small either pistols or tools, and then eventually, when this is functional, an armor locker where you can store armor. You'll be able to set up your armor and then hot swap into the whole thing, which is going to be very useful. You can also send this down, should you want to. So, nice if you've got maybe a box. I don't know if an SEU box will fit on there, but you could load it with cargo, come around here and bring it up this way. Med gel and whatnot, fabricator stuff. I wonder if a box would fit on there. I tried putting either a weapon or a cooler on here, and as it rose up, it just fell off. So, I wouldn't expect that to be super functional. But then coming up here, this ladder's a bit balky. You have this I'm going back down again. For some reason, this ladder causes problems. Welcome to the bridge. Nice view, especially when you first wake up and come out of there. First thing you see when these doors open. Let's just do that. As you saw in the intro, in fact. First thing you see is the outside. So nice. Up here, you have a couple of seats, which is interesting for a solo person ship. And then you have a bunch of components here. So you have a cooler, your relay, and then over on this side, you have life support, which is kind of a new component now, where you can see this little device here, having to swap them out. And then your avionics, which is here, where you'll be able to put blades in and such. And then you have your seat. We'll sit in that in a minute. So yeah, kind of interesting. You can have passengers if you wanted, or you can just sit here yourself. I like having just random seats. It kind of makes sense. And then in here, this is your living quarters, your habitation room. You've got your bed. Again, a poster there. You can stick a poster there, a poster here. It does get a little bright if you're trying to sleep, though. You can also stick a poster here, but I didn't want to take them all out in case I lost them. And then you've got your little sink here, a shelving there. You've got a table here for putting stuff on. I've just got a bit of script, whatever that's called. Script. And this glacocyte. Got that little plushie and a plant. And a little table and seat where you can open. Okay. I didn't know that slid out. That's cool. We'll close that up again. Well, that's kind of handy. I always like this about the Ranger, where you have this little seated area for just chilling out with. You also have this quite nice locker with less room than the one downstairs. I've got quite a lot of bits in here because I have been out scavenging and living off-grid, in fact, for a little while. I'm hoping... That must be for the posters. I don't know why the mark is up there. I'm hoping these will become storage, and these will become quick storage as well. That would be cool if they could make it so you throw something in there, and then it somewhat appears there. But this area here is... Now, a lot of people used to complain about certain ships that have just areas that don't have anything, as if it was wasted space. But I can assure you, when engineering comes along, or just, you know, crafting and other things, having room to put spare items that are not in your walkway is going to be useful. You could stick a couple of coolers there, a box of fuses, or, you know, whatever that you might need to grab quickly. So I actually appreciate having areas like this, little nooks and crannies where you can throw things in. Nothing down here, but again, it would be nice to get some storage up there, just having some extra storage space. You've also got a light switch here, as you saw. And this as well, I did put a coin in there, a little challenge coin, but it fell through and disappeared. I have lost quite a few things to this ship. A couple of weapons, and maybe a cooler? Or maybe it was a tool. I think it was a couple of weapons and then a salvaging tool. I dropped them on the floor to then place somewhere, and they fell through or fell into the wall or into the floor, and I haven't seen them since. This is the toilet. It's got a drip in the shower. It's the shoilet. And it also has a little shelf there, which I do appreciate as well. Just putting, I don't know, a rubber ducky when we get one. There we go. Can't actually sit on it by the looks of things. But that's fine. We can pretend. And it's got its own lighting. Its own door. Own emergency button when that works. Now this is where the magic happens. This is the engineering bay. And I am very happy to see a proper terminal so that we can really invest ourselves in it. Another fire extinguisher here. That's just a spare fuse that I popped there in case I needed it. Some dead space here where you can probably put a couple of devices. And then you've got your radar, which does have its own physical thing now since we saw it on the TP. Your shield, 2 shield generators. Does it have 3? I can't remember. Maybe it just has 2. Your gravity generator there, which we don't have just yet. And I don't think the gravity and gravity generator are coming with the first iteration of engineering. That will come later on. So being able to turn gravity off, maybe even change the amount of gravity you have in this area, you know, to being full gravity, half gravity and whatnot. They have done tests with that in the past. And then, yeah, you've got your engineering terminal, which will be very handy when engineering comes along. And that's your quantum drive and jump drive. Right now, we only have the 1 jump drive, but with 4.5 engineering systems, all components will be, I suspect, at that point, getting a huge revamp with different strengths, weaknesses, trade-offs, classes, and so on. But, as mentioned, here is the trapdoor. So, for example, a fire breaks out. You could be on the bridge, and a fire breaks out in the power plant. Of course, there's 2 power plants down there. They're not up here, aren't the power plants? You can spin round, and instead of jumping down there and going through the other doors, you can just kind of make a beeline through here. Maybe grab the fire extinguisher from here, if you wanted to. Or you could then jump down here, open it up, grab the fire extinguisher, and blast it away until the threat of it blowing up has gone away. Can't get back up there, though, I don't think. Which is kind of a shame. That would have been pretty handy. But that is the interior. An absolute beauty of a ship that I am going to be using a lot. Now, let us take it for a little spin. In fact, let me test what I was talking about with the bike. Getting in and out is actually quite easy. Let me just show you that. Hang on. As I say, I tried putting a dragonfly in here, and it really didn't want it. It took me an effort to try and get it out again. Right, is everything closed? No, not quite. But yeah, driving this in, and even turning around in here was pretty easy. Although I know
Weapon system off.
the Pulse has a mind of its own. Okay, so power on. I leave the power on, but I turn the engines off.
Launch sequence complete.
And then keep your speed limiter all the way down so that you don't boost and, well, not boost, but push out. But this goes down without banging your head. Super smooth. And allows you to pretend to be a grassy grazer. And then when you're done, you just bring it back. I've noticed as well it says potential Morocco location, maybe for the missions where you've got to go looking for them. And you just pull it up here. Nice and easy. And then you can spin it round, as I say, provided your cargo bay is empty. Super easy, look at that. But for science, please don't blow up. Let's try parking it here. So once you could pull it out, we'll see how this goes.
Engines off. Landing successful.
So when you're dismounting, in fact, let me just move it a little bit to the side. When you're dismounting the Pulse, the way that I do it without it freaking out and blowing everything up is obviously you keep the power on, engines off,
Engines off.
and then when you hold down W, make sure you've got room to get off. Hold down, Y and whatever directional button at the same time, because when you jump off, you actually land, you hop off right on top of it, and that causes it to freak out. Do you know, I reckon you could fit 2 bikes there. Let's just see how this goes. It almost caused an earthquake. But, you could do it. Let's just leave it there for now. And see how we get on flying around. I also want to put this ship through a little bit of a combat test with maybe Gilly's missions. So you could have a full cargo bay and have that. I mean, actually, that's out of the way. And you don't need to push it all that far up. You can just stick it here and it might be a little better. I don't advise using your tractor beam on it, though. That is not the method. Right, let's take it for a spin. Also, nice that you can turn the lights off on the bridge, especially for when you're flying around in the dark. Look at this little drop. That's a nice touch. I'm liking this. Now, physical buttons. What we got? Lights off. Oh, you've actually got a button here for the cockpit lights. That is genius. Excellent work there. I like that. What's this one do? Not sure. That's exit to get out of the seat. Power off, engines on. And that looks like it for now. I do like that. Nothing up there either. No. Okay, engines on.
Engines online.
Should we scare the quasis?
Weapons online.
Let me just switch to my omniskids. Oh, hello. Oh boy, they're all leaving the planet. That wasn't the intention. Right, so as I say, you've got your omniskids, you've got mantises. So 2 size 3 lasers, 2 size 3 ballistics. Right now, we have a power plant that offers, I think, 16 pips. Yeah. So if you were to swap out the mantises for extra energy, you would need... It would take more energy. I am wondering maybe sticking distortion on, but we'll see. Listen to that sound. And look at... Oh, hello. Look at the detail as well on the side of the ship. So much additional stuff just to kind of make it look cool, and I like it. So, missiles, as I say, you've got, what are we on now? 4 ignites, even though we should have 12 of them. Oh, sorry. So 3 arresters, size 3s. I think they're cross-section. 11 marksman ones. They're infrared, aren't they? And so are the ignites, I believe. Let's fire another one of these. Off it goes. Hits the side of the hill. So quite a decent loadout there. And actually, with 4 size 4s, that isn't bad. Alright, let's get taking off.
Launch complete.
Very nice.
Landing gear.
Doesn't have VTOL. I think top speed in SEM right now is 205. I think it goes up to about 400, and then 1,000 when you're in nav mode. But ignore all that, really. Eventually it'll all change, and speed will certainly be based on how many power pips you have going to the engines and whatnot. But all in all, not a bad flight. I guess with the size of the wings as well, this is going to benefit more from a yaw and a pitch rather than... Sorry, not a yaw, a roll and a pitch rather than a yaw. But I suppose as well you've got quite a lot of surface area there to turn via a yaw.
Shield system offline.
Let's get some speed up if we can. Don't think we can go technically faster than that without boosting. So something else I've just noticed, trying to get these fancy shots, is you've got another fuel port here. Now this fuel port is like on the other ships where this is for in-flight refueling with the Starfarer. So you've got the one down the side for in hangar or vehicle, and then you've got that one as well. But let's get out of here and see about taking on one of the ghillie missions, just to kind of give us a slight taste of what its capabilities might be. I am by no means a great dogfighter, though. Not that this is a dogfighting ship, but let's get out of atmosphere, take on a mission, and see how we get on. I don't know if you've heard, but the engine's kicking out as well. It just sounds industrial.
Hostiles inbound. Light them up.
I love this ship so much.
Contact.
Alright, what we got up here? A little cutter. Should we fire a missile? Oh.
System is hit.
Damn it. You got me there. Obviously, it's a bit of a bigger ship, so it's not going to have as good turning speed.
Ah, shit the bed.
Is he going to slam into the asteroid there? So size 3 Omnisk is not too bad against something like a cutter. It's already damaged him, but this is obviously early stuff. Against a fighter, they'll probably run rings around you. There we are, that's that one down. I am interested in finding some decent loadouts for this. I don't know if it's more of a full sense of security, though. Putting on, you know, NDBs or ARDORs or something along those lines. Pisces. Okay. We did take a little bit of damage there, though.
Missile locked.
Oh, okay.
Missile locked.
It doesn't find a path.
Missile locked. Shield system.
Should we try both? Well, actually, let's get our shields off first. They're off.
Congratulations. Target.
Do you know, it's not a bad little ship.
Clear up, but I got more coming your way.
Of course, this isn't necessarily a challenging foe, but it seems to handle its own pretty well. Have we taken much damage on the wing? What we got? Prospector. Try and engage at a bit of range to try and take his shields down before we get close to engage with ballistics, maybe? With those maneuvering thrusters as well, it seems to be able to change direction pretty fast for the size of it. And the fact that it's a box. Oh, not quite down yet. But again, you're not going to win any races with it. Should have it. Quite sturdy are these prospectors.
Congratulations.
That's it.
Target
There we are.
Mission complete. Good work.
So just a very quick and simple test against 3 very easy targets, just to kind of show you what its loadout is like. Let's head on back, land it down, and I'll leave you with my final thoughts.
Landing gear down. Landing complete.
Right, let's take the pulse for a little spin. While we just chat about my final thoughts. Personally, this has become my new favourite ship. It is just, for what it offers, and I'm sure we will see a lot more along this road. Why does my plant keep falling over? Stupid plant. This kind of generalist game style, which, as I say, is in essence the off-grid stuff. We're not doing missions, per se. We're just living out wherever we set our ship down, or not, for that matter, if you want to live in space. And just, you know, see what we find. There is plenty out there to scavenge, to loot, and then call your own. And I think as the game progresses, there's going to be even more to find. There's going to be, you know, engineering to deal with. And the fact that it holds this pulse... Oh, I thought it had disappeared. I'd moved it. Look. It's absolutely fine over there. Let's see how this goes. I wouldn't trust it. But it's an option. If you're in a pinch... And, you know, you need to... Because you could do any sort of cargo run up to 12 SEU. I wouldn't say you can put any more in, because if you put it on the ramp, it'll just slide off. Ooh, boy. But all in all, what a great vehicle this is. Oh, it's even showing me the glaxite in my... that I've got there. I am just enamored with the Clipper. And I think a lot of other people are as well. When it first came along, I think a lot of people were very much, like myself, a bit confused. And since, it has just grown on us. I will be using this for the foreseeable for my off-grid. As I say, the next episode is hopefully coming out sometime this week, and then while I'm away on my jollies from the 1st of December until the 11th, and I'm hoping I'm going to be able to use the Clipper and try and get a good backlog of off-grid stuff. Let's go and see if these Copian are down here. Get a little backlog of off-grid videos scheduled to go live while I'm away. I think that would be really useful. But, all in all, a great little ship. I am looking forwards to using this a lot more. In fact, let's not do that. That's just asking for trouble. I'm looking forwards to using this a lot more in my everyday play. Mostly with the off-grid stuff, because it just offers so much more. And then as, of course, 4.5 comes along, we get engineering. It is going to open that up even more. Talking of engineering, I have part 2 of my video. I can't remember what it was called. Bear with me. It was the This'll Take Star Citizen to a Whole New Level video, where I took a starship, was it the Intrepid? And just lived off-grid in it. Seeing, you know, with engineering, seeing how it went, seeing what happened. And yeah, I was very impressed. So that part 2 is coming up. Oh boy, okay, we're almost there. So keep an eye out for that one. I'm going to put this on the cargo bay. It's probably best to just drive it in forwards and then spin it round. There's nothing wrong with doing that at all. It works very cleanly. And again, hold down the Y button for dismount, and then either W, A, D, or S. Make sure you are stepping off quick, because if you leave it too long, it'll freak out. And yeah, when engineering does come along, I will be gathering all sorts of components, even small components, size 0, and tinkering away on this while I... Oh, no. Ah, damn it. While living off-grid, there is plenty more to see. Same one again. Here we are. These are all the little size 0 components. But if you do enjoy this video, please do consider subscribing and helping the channel to grow. Plenty more of this sort of content coming. Also, come and follow me over at twitch.tv/SuperMacBrother, or watch me here live on YouTube as well. We are doing Twitch drops though, so if you want that free armor, get over there on Twitch and get yourself that free armor. Plenty of cool stuff going on over on Twitch, well, on streams. We've got org stuff, got off-grid stuff, not in a Clipper mine. I'm going to start taking a look at the Salvation, the Perseus, the Ox, and all the other ships coming along. This is my review of the Clipper. Hit the thumbs up if you don't mind. It does the channel a big favour. And tick that notification bell if you'd like to be notified when my videos go live. Again, a huge thank you to my patrons and channel members for all of your continued support. It is much appreciated. And as I say, if you want that TOBII deal for 20% off, best head tracking there is, in my opinion, grab it while it's there. There will be other sales, so don't worry if you don't grab it this time. Plenty more in the future. Hit the bell if you would like to be notified when my videos go live. Thank you again for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.